Hi everyone, it's Nicole Spohr and welcome back to my channel. This morning I went live on YouTube and my cards did not turn out how I wanted to, with the exception of the beautiful wreath. I was just having so much trouble, real life, right? So I went ahead and recreated these cards off camera, and wouldn't you know it, it was one and done. Who even knows? So I put the ones that did not go well. One of the others is actually on the back of these ornament cards. So I tried the ornament card 3 times and just did not like it any of those times. So I am going to go ahead and recreate the ornaments here from start to finish. And I think it's important to kind of share those struggles and things because we all have them. I really kind of wish it hadn't happened live, but that is the way it goes. And I think it's important to show you how I persevered, how I went through, and really I didn't change my initial plan for this card at all. I didn't change my inks. I didn't change my cardstock or products or anything. But I did change one little thing in the step and the process. So what I actually ended up doing is I am stenciling the ornament from this Ornament Builder stencil set from Simon Says Stamp with the bubblegum brand new Pawsitively saturated ink, and I did all of my bubblegum ornaments first. I don't really know if that makes that much of a difference in the overall finished card, but I will tell you, breaking it into these steps and not switching back and forth between colors made a little bit more sense to my mind. And so that really is the first thing that I found worked really well. Next, I am taking the blush Pawsitively saturated Simon Says Stamp ink, and I am inking that ornament up. I also went with the pink red color combination, and I have to tell you, I absolutely love it. It worked out great, but I am going to go ahead and ink these 3 red ornaments. So I ended up with 7 total. A couple of them are just partials, but I think that odd number of ornaments is really going to work here. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of wipe clean my stencil. I will clean it better when I'm completely done. And then I'm going to take my stencil and I'm going to put the layering stencil over it to create a pattern. Now, just like I did with doing all of the pink ornaments and then all of the red, I am going to add texture to all of the red ornaments first. I'm using Simon Says Stamp Pucker ink, and these ornaments will all be striped. I decided to keep it simple and do all stripes for the red and all polka dot for the pink. This also eliminated the need for maybe switching back and forth from different sections. I think it kept it a little more uniform, and definitely the finished card is really beautiful. I really love how it turned out. So let's go ahead and add our polka dots now. This is our mid-tone pink color called Sweets. And I felt like that ornament needed another little dot, so I'm just kind of carefully adding those back in. The ornaments are looking really good. I have to say, about this point, I was very, very happy with my ornament card. I could tell that it was going to go the right direction. It was too soon to celebrate, especially after having to start and stop so many times in the live, but I was loving how it turned out. We'll finish adding this, and then I will need to clean my stencil. I can just wipe it clean, or I can go wash it. I do want to add some Glitz Glitter paste gel, I guess it's called Glitz Glitter Gel, over the top once I'm completely done. But this needs to be the final step before adding our sentiments. And the reason is we are going to be stamping over the entire background with a background stamp. I know I mentioned this morning. I even showed you stamping this over the wreath. You can see the wreath card over to the side. I haven't finished it. I'll finish it here on camera, but I am going to want to stamp that text all over the background. And It's always kind of a scary thing to do because you don't know if you're going to ruin all of your hard work. But I have to say the text, once dry, is nice and subtle, and it just adds another layer of interest. The other thing we want to do before we add any text is we want to do any finishing details. So the fantastic thing about this stencil is there are ornament toppers. I did pick the Simon Says Stamp Slate Gray cardstock. You need something nice and dark to kind of cover up the colorful part of the ornament. And I am going to simply stencil this on the top of any of the ornaments that have this part showing. Look how beautiful these are looking, you guys. I'm really, really excited. So once we have that down, I am going to take a ruler and a fine tip black pen and draw the lines in. You could also choose to do squiggly lines freehand or just kind of do a more natural line freehand, but I opted to do a very straight line. So I'm using my T-square ruler and again, a 1.1 fine tip black pen. Okay, there are my little lines. This is beautiful. And honestly, it is beautiful just like this. You could add a stamp sentiment, a few little embellishments, and call it good. My favorite technique though with layering stencils or stenciling is adding that text background. So I already have my background stamp in my MISTI from Stamping the Wreath. This is the Hero Arts Noel bold print background. It's a scripty Christmas type of text, which is great for Christmas themed cards. I generally try to match the text to my card. Now, it is really dark when you first stamp it. I really like it, even as is right now, but you will notice in that at that photo at the beginning of the video and also at the end, this fades as it dries and it becomes much more subtle. Now that all of our stamping and stenciling is done, we are going to add Glitz Glitter Gel over the top. Yes, using Stencil, but this is a wet product, so we need to do this on top because it's going to add some amazing glittery textured embellishment to the ornaments. I also opted to only do 3 of the ornaments as I felt like doing any of the others would be a little bit of overkill. This is the red color called Cherry, and I am just applying this with a little palette knife. I didn't get this one stenciled very good, so I'm just going to fix that really quick. The little fine tip on the palette knife works really well. This dries pretty fast. I'm going to set that aside to completely dry. And I did grab then my wreath background. On live, I did stencil the center of my poinsettias with our gold color. Let me make sure I tell you the exact correct name of that gold. It is called citrine, actually. So we did the center of the poinsettias and then maybe some little berries and things with gold, but then I needed to let that dry before I changed it. So I'm going to place the stencil back over my design. It's a great thing about stencils. You can always line them back up perfectly. And then I'm going to take some of our Cherry Glitz Glitter Gel and add this to the berries around the card. So there's 2 different colors of Glitz Glitter Gel on this particular design. I'm going to peel this away. Again, you want to make sure that you wash your stencils right away when working with Glitz Glitter Gel so that it doesn't dry and crust on your stencil, making it hard to use it for something else later. So here is the finished card design. I added some sentiments. This is the Simon Says stamp, XL Christmas Greetings stamp die combo. All of the sentiments I'm using today are from this stamp set. I love how it mixes together perfectly. The Merry is on some slate gray cardstock, heat embossed with white embossing powder. Christmas is on Schoolhouse Red Simon Says stamp cardstock, again embossed with white embossing powder. They're die cut with coordinating dies or sentiment labels dies. And then my favorite part is adding those fine finishing touch details. So we've got little heart buds coming out of some of the sprigs around our wreath. We've got snowflakes, we've got some little gold stars, all kinds of pretty little goodies that really make this wreath shine. I purposely picked a big bold sentiment for the center of my wreath so that it would really take up space within the center of this stenciled image. This is a single stencil. This was not a layering stencil, and I showed the entire stenciling of this card plus the stamping of the background in that live video, which is linked at the end of this one if you're interested in checking it out and seeing me make a whole bunch of mistakes. Not on this card though, the other ones. Now, I completely forgot to turn my video camera on. Literally, you guys, it was the day of airs for this next card. So it's the layering kind of little grid background set. And I actually decided to completely redo this because I wanted to really make sure I added the text background, which I had not added in the live video. And I wanted to find a better way to do the grid, where I know you guys were talking that Kathy made punched a little square. Well, I actually used a masking stencil. I know it's not a square, but you can stencil like one corner, and then you can move the stencil down and do the other corner. I found that this worked really, really well. I'm just kind of reenacting and showing you that here so that if you have a square stencil or a rectangle stencil, something similar, that worked amazing. And I was able to do that background in literally no time. So in the live, I basically showed you what not to do, which is kind of funny. Now we're going to have so much fun creating patterns all over this design. I'm using the little Altenew blending brushes for the small images. We're going to use the small size blending brushes for the other backgrounds. And we're basically going to just kind of cover everything on our card. I think I did leave maybe a couple of the partial squares along the sides without a pattern in them. Don't feel like you have to do every single one if you don't want. I kind of started, I did that little holly and berries, and then I decided I probably better do joy because I just want to use the joy as part of my sentiment, and you'll see me piece that together here in a second. So I'm going to go ahead and do the joy in a tone on tone. No, it doesn't show up super great. I think if you were just going to use this more as a background pattern paper and add a sentiment on top, it would be fine. It would probably be fine just like this as well. But I do like that base color because we will be adding on the Glitz Glitter Gel on top, and we're going to do that for some of the icons too, not just the word joy. I kind of just did it organically, whatever felt good. This was kind of playtime. I wasn't exactly sure if I was going to love how this turned out. This is not my normal kind of style. I have to tell you guys, I actually really, really loved it. The more Glitz Glitter Gel I add to this card, the more I love this card. Now, I went through and added all kinds of patterns. I do want to show you something that I didn't notice until doing this replay. See how in that pink square underneath the Y, that particular square, the diagonals are going the other direction. I've already stenciled it one way using another one. You could totally make a plaid with that. Wouldn't that be cute? So just another way to use this stencil. I'm going to go back and forth with my colors of ink. I will tell you really quick the colors of ink I used. So for the base colors of my squares, I used the brand new Bubblegum and Sweets Positively Saturated inks. I used the blush Positively Saturated ink. I used Surf Positively Saturated ink. And then the lighter green color is the brand new Sprout Positively Saturated ink. The colors on top, the tone on tone colors, and anything that I did for the icons, letters, all of that good stuff. That's going to be our Taffy, which is brand new. Ocean, Fairway, no, I lied. Field. I did not use Fairway on this. I don't believe. You know what, guys? I don't think I used Sprout. I'm so sorry. Sprout was not my light color. I used Fairway, and then I used Field on top, and then I used Pucker on top of the red. So that's going to be my red color. You'll notice from here, I'm just going to go through and fill the rest of these out. One little note is the little floral design from the Ornament Builder stencil set would also work really nicely in these little squares. So don't be afraid to mix and match if you have other stencils that might work with this. Love these little snowflakes. And I think you guys are going to like how I finished the sentiments for this card. I was able to really kind of customize one of the sentiments from the XL Christmas greetings to work with this design. So I'm just going to kind of clean up my stencil. I'm going to clean up my work surface, and I'm going to do that pretty often. I am switching back and forth between a lot of different colors of ink. That is a pretty good opportunity to maybe smear or smudge, and with all of the issues I was having today, I decided it would be better to be safe than sorry and to kind of keep things cleaned up. I definitely, guys, drop me a note in the chat. Tell me about times that you have struggled making a card. I know we laughed about it and talked about it during the live, about throwing things, ripping paper, curse words, whatever it might be. I normally find, and I think I even maybe made mention of this during the chat, I can't hardly even remember, you guys, because I was so frustrated, and I really appreciate everyone who stuck with me, but I thought I did mention the thing that works the best for me is walking away and coming back. I didn't actually walk away from this for very long. I think maybe about 20 minutes. I took my dogs outside, got some fresh air. I came back and I actually whipped these out, and then I took a break. And it felt so good to get these done because I had this great idea in my head and it just wasn't manifesting itself. And so being able to actually finish them and get them cute totally made my day. So I hope you guys enjoy this part 2 video. This is the second time I've had to do a part 2 video. I know if you watched my Flippy Flappy Lawn Fawn Interactive card live from a few weeks back, I also had to do a take 2 there where I kind of fixed a little issue later on. So yes, again, I stamped that white text over the top of the background. I was really afraid it might make it way too super busy. Right now, it does look a little bit busy, but keep in mind that white pigment ink is wet. When the white pigment ink dries, it actually kind of blends into the background almost, and it's nice and subtle. Now that we have all of our stamping and flat stenciling done, we're going to do our Glitz Glitter Gel stenciling, and I am breaking out even more colors. Yay! I think I used almost every color, maybe all but one of the 6 new colors. This is Amethyst. So Amethyst is going to be the color I'm using over pink. Odin is snoring super loud in the background. It's awesome. He has made himself known in every video I've done today. We have Cherry for red. The blue color we're using is Surf. Oh, I love that that's the same color name as the blue ink color. And then we are going to be using green, which is Perfection. Oh, again, that's the same color there too. You guys know I love Perfection. And I think those are the 4 colors I opted to use on this one. I really like that this is kind of more of a modern look and feel for a holiday card. I hope you guys like it too. And something to note, I did a lot of Glitz Glitter Gel on this, meaning I had to work in stations. So you might see me like flip the paper like I did just now. I also would let it sit for a few minutes. I kind of went and cleaned some stencils and did some stuff. I would come back, but that way each little section will dry. It dries pretty fast. I'm doing a very thin coat. It's not super thick. But if you're going to do some stenciling like this, like moving your stencil around and using Glitz Glitter Gel, please make sure you let it dry before you place the stencil on top. You don't want to ruin what you've already done. Now, something fun I did for the holly and berries, I actually only added the red to the berry part, and I'm going to just leave the green leaves inked with the ink like I did and not add the Perfection Glitz Glitter Gel. Don't forget the trees. I decided the trees needed some. I actually forgot the pink tree. I did my little green tree and I'm like, oh, it's so cute. But the right or left side of my card is feeling a little, it's a little light. I felt like it needed a little bit more. Got a lot of Glitz glitter gel going over on the right side. Man, that's a mouthful. Sometimes that's hard to say. And so I needed to bring some more over here. So we've got our snowflake, and then we will add the little pink or purpley color over our pink tree. And between switching colors with my palette knife, I'm not running to the sink and washing it each time. I actually have a paper towel that I'm wiping off any excess. So I'll scrape the excess back into the container. I wipe that with a paper towel, something I can throw away. And then when I'm completely finished, I will go ahead, take that over to the sink in the bathroom. I have a stencil drying rack and things in there, and I'm gonna clean everything really, really well. I wanna make one little note about my stencil mat here that is stained with pink ink. I don't know what the deal is. Red has not done this to my stencil mats, but pink inks have stained my stencil mats. That is not coming off. That is not alcohol ink. That's not a Copic marker with alcohol ink. That is, it's Kitsch Flamingo ink, and then the pink inks from Simon Says Stamp are what has stained my stencil mat. So just wanted to make note of that in case you guys were wondering. Now that sending, it says sending you joy, but I actually just stamped and embossed it and then carefully cut around the bottom of the word sending so we could make our sentiment read sending joy this holiday season. Again, both sentiments are from that XL Christmas Greetings stamp set from Simon Says Stamp, coordinating dies for all the sentiments. Big, bold, amazing, lots of different sentiments you can use. I did not double up any of the sentiments. I used across 3 cards, and I got 3 completely different sentiments, 3 completely different cards, same favorite stenciling technique with that text background stamp over the top of stenciling. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you for watching this part 2 video of my live video. I hope this kind of clears some stuff up. I hope it shows you how you can persevere and make it through your card making and be successful. Again, thank you guys. I appreciate it so very much. The supplies I use to create my cards are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here is another video featuring Simon Says Stamp products. In fact, part 1 of this video, if you're interested. A huge shout out and thank you to my Patreon members. I appreciate you guys so very much. If you are interested in joining Patreon, please click the link below in the description box. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and we will see you next time.